You sit down to work, you open your laptop, and within minutes, your cat is sitting directly on the keyboard staring at you like they own the place. It happens almost every single time. You might think it's random, you might think it's just bad timing, but it's not. Your cat is sending you a message every time they do this, and once you understand what's actually going on, you'll never look at this annoying habit the same way again. Today, we're breaking down exactly why cats are so obsessed with sitting on laptops, what it really means, and what you can do about it without pushing your cat away. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you work from home with a cat, you already know this scenario all too well. The moment you open your laptop, sit down at your desk, or start typing away at an important email, your cat suddenly appears out of nowhere and plants themselves directly on top of your keyboard. It's one of the most universally recognized cat behaviors among owners, and it's also one of the most misunderstood. But there's actually a lot more going on beneath the surface. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the real reasons behind this behavior, covering the physical appeal of laptops, the psychology of attention-seeking, scent and territory marking, the comfort and bonding angle, how this compares to other similar behaviors, when this might actually be a problem, and practical ways to manage it. If you want more deep dives into cat psychology and behavior, make sure to hit subscribe because we post videos like this regularly. Let's get into it. Let's start with the most basic practical explanation. Laptops are physically appealing to cats for several very specific reasons. First, there's warmth. Laptops generate heat, especially around the base near the fan and battery components. Cats are drawn to warmth instinctively. Second, there's height and positioning. Laptops are usually placed on desks or your lap, which puts them at an elevated position. Cats generally prefer elevated spaces because height gives them a sense of security. Third, there's the texture and shape. Laptops are relatively flat, smooth, and often just the right size for a cat to curl up across. Fourth, and this one is surprising a lot of people, laptops are often a moving, active object. Your hands are moving, the screen is changing. Cats are naturally curious, and movement can draw their attention. There's also a fifth factor worth mentioning: sound and vibration. Laptops produce a low, consistent hum. Many cats find this soothing. Combine these 5 factors, warmth, height, texture, movement, and sound, and you have what is essentially a perfect storm of feline attraction. But if it were purely about physical comfort, cats would be just as likely to sit on any warm, flat surface in the house. The fact that they specifically gravitate toward your laptop, and specifically when you're actively using it, points to something deeper. It's also worth noting that this behavior tends to be far more common when the laptop is actively in use, rather than sitting closed on a shelf. This is a strong clue that your presence and engagement plays a significant role too. This brings us to one of the most widely discussed explanations among cat behaviorists, the attention theory. Cats are incredibly perceptive when it comes to reading human behavior. They quickly learn to associate certain actions, like opening a laptop, with a shift in your attention away from them. When you're deeply focused on typing, your body language changes. You're sitting still, staring intently at a screen. Cats pick up on this shift almost immediately. Think about it from a strategic standpoint. If a cat meows near you, you might glance over, but you're still able to continue working. But if a cat sits directly on your laptop, you are physically unable to continue without addressing them. This isn't necessarily a conscious, calculated decision, but rather a learned behavior reinforced over time. If a cat sits on the laptop and you respond by petting them, even if you're mildly annoyed, you're still providing attention. And to a cat, attention is often more rewarding than being ignored entirely. There's also an interesting timing element here. Many owners report that their cat will wait until they're several minutes into typing, right as they hit a flow state before making their move. Cats are highly attuned to subtle shifts in human stillness and predictability. As you become more absorbed in your work, this stillness can actually serve as a trigger for your cat. Some behaviorists also point out that this pattern can be explained through classic conditioning. Even a mildly negative reaction, like a sigh or a gentle no, still constitutes attention in the cat's mind. Beyond simple attention seeking, there's a deeper territorial and scent-based explanation. Cats are highly scent-oriented animals. Your laptop is an object you interact with constantly, meaning it carries a strong, concentrated scent signature of you. When a cat sits or rubs against your laptop, they're often engaging in a subtle form of scent marking, similar to when they rub their cheeks against furniture or your legs. In multi-pet homes, this territorial aspect can become even more pronounced. A cat may be more inclined to claim your laptop specifically because it's a high-value item strongly associated with you. Interestingly, this scent marking works in both directions. Once a cat has repeatedly sat on an object, it begins to carry its own scent as well. This creates a feedback loop, reinforcing the laptop as a shared, significant space. Some behaviorists also point to the concept of allomarking, the blending of scents between bonded individuals to create a unified group scent. While attention-seeking and territory marking are significant, there's also a simpler, more emotionally driven explanation: comfort and bonding. For many cats, sitting near a laptop while your owner works is about proximity and closeness. Work sessions represent a significant chunk of time where a cat might otherwise be separated from their favorite person. The laptop, in this context, isn't the primary attraction. You are. This is further supported by the fact that many cats display this behavior almost exclusively with their primary bonded person, not with every member of the household. This bonding-driven explanation also helps make sense of why some cats position themselves on your arms or lap while you type, prioritizing closeness over comfort. This tends to be especially common in cats who are hand-raised or have an unusually strong attachment style towards their caregiver. It's worth comparing laptop sitting to other similar behaviors because the underlying motivations are often remarkably similar. Many cats display comparable behavior when their owner is reading a book, walking directly across the pages. The same applies to paperwork or documents spread out on a desk. Phones are another common target. Cats will frequently sit on top of a phone or paw at the screen while your owner is scrolling. In each of these cases, the common thread is the same. These are all objects demanding your visual attention, pulling you away from direct interaction with your cat. Understanding this broader pattern reframes the behavior, not as a random annoyance specific to laptops, but as part of a consistent pattern of attention-seeking and bonding. Now, while this behavior is generally rooted in normal, healthy feline instincts, it's worth addressing whether it's ever actually a problem. For most cat owners, occasional laptop sitting is a minor inconvenience. In these cases, it's often best to view it as normal part of living with a cat. However, there are situations where this can become more disruptive, particularly for those who work from home full-time. If this behavior is happening extremely frequently or genuinely interfering with your work, it may be worth addressing more directly. It's also worth considering whether this indicates an underlying issue, such as insufficient enrichment or boredom. The goal here isn't to eliminate the behavior entirely. Instead, the goal should be finding a healthy balance. There's also a practical safety consideration. Cats sitting on laptops can lead to accidental keystrokes, unsaved work, or in rarer cases, damage to the device. At the same time, it's worth remembering that most cats are not seeking to be genuinely disruptive. Approaching this behavior with patience rather than frustration tends to produce better long-term results. So, to summarize, when your cat sits on your laptop every time you sit down to work, it's rarely just a random coincidence. It's a combination of physical appeal, attention-seeking, scent and territory marking, and genuine bonding with you specifically. If this video helped you understand your cat's behavior a little bit better, let me know in the comments. Does your cat do this every time you sit down to work? And if you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe for more videos on cat behavior and psychology. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.